Hi guys, how you all doing? Welcome back to another video on the channel here in the inner sanctum of St James's Park in one of the TV rooms just shortly after that 2-0 win against Nottingham Forest. Perfect win, I would say, an absolutely perfect win, just the tonic, just what you needed at this juncture of the season. I'm going to get into my thoughts in a second, but if you're new to the channel, please do subscribe. If you haven't done already, give me a comment below and a thumbs up. Any kind of interaction is most welcome. But yeah, look, perfect situation, 2-0 to Newcastle. It looked as though it was going to be a struggle at one stage, at half-time at 0-0, going into the second half, you're thinking you just take any win possible. But I think if you could have asked Eddie Howe before the match today, a clean sheet and a 2-0 win would have probably been his ideal scenario. And the reason I say that is, look, if you'd won this today 4-0, 5-0, 4-1, you'd hammered Nottingham Forest out of the park. I think people start getting their hopes up, getting overexcited. The sort of expectation level is raised significantly, but I just think a 2-0 win today, I wouldn't say it was hugely comfortable, but a 2-0 win is a good win at home, and you could sense that talking to Eddie Howe afterwards in his press comments. He was just like, huge win, such an important win. We need to win our home games against teams like that, and I think you did it very well. So many things went well. No injuries for a start. Although I say that, no Lewis Hall today. Eddie's just said to us in the press conference just now that he's had a scan, he needs to get his hamstring re-scanned, he's got a bit of an issue there. They're hoping it's not long term, hoping that it's short term, left it pretty like open and vague, which would concern me given the Johan Wissa situation, which has also been a vague situation, and another 2 weeks have been added onto that on Friday, onto the initial 4 to 5 week diagnosis. So that would worry me regarding Lewis Hall, but of course Dan Burn did decent enough at left back today. Newcastle kept a clean sheet. I thought Chow and Botman excellent at centre half. That is a glimpse into the future as to what your centre backs would be. My brother-in-law sat next to me at the game today was saying like Chow and Botman are almost like mirror images of each other, one right-footed, one left-footed, both tall, imposing, good with the ball, and I have to say I agree with him. They're very similar players, but obviously one right-footed and one left-footed. And you would have to say this early in the season I've pushed both Dan Burn and Fabian Schär out of the team. And look, Burns doing brilliant at left back. Eddie wants him in his team. He loves him being part of it. He's one of the big characters there, but you have to say the way Botman's playing right now and the way Malik Chow are playing, you have to build your team, your defensive unit around these two. So that would be a blow if you're going to miss Lewis Hall, although Dan's doing well enough at left back. Let's see how long that is going to be. The fact he said it could be short term, could be long term, the fact he's even used the words long term would suggest to me it's going to be short term, because I think if Eddie kind of gives you a little bit of a fright or a worry about a certain player, that would suggest to me that they're okay, you know. If he says everything's fine, I worry. That's just the way I am about these injury situations and Newcastle. But I've told you this before. But look, getting back to today, look, I just think a 2-0 home win, under the radar, understated, not hammering them. I thought Forest were okay actually. I thought they were decent. They were a team fighting for their manager, I think, a manager under pressure. There's been a bit of a ding-dong in the press conference next door with Ange Postecoglou right now, with a couple of my colleagues who were asking him about his future, and he's like giving it, come out with the whole, come on mate, like what do you expect? Like obviously I think he was asked why he's not interacted with the players afterwards and asked if he thinks he's got a future there and stuff, and look, it was a little bit prickly but also dealt with in humour. I think he'll be given a bit longer, and the reason for that is I think his players showed fight today. They showed courage and battle, and look, it took Newcastle a big performance to get over the line. Let's start with the first goal that broke the deadlock. Bruno Guimaraes, great finish. I've just been speaking to the people next to me and we're talking about how his shooting isn't up to scratch. He can't put his foot through the ball. He doesn't have that instinct and that drive behind the ball that like Sandro Tonali's got, or Elliot Anderson's got, or most midfielders, Lewis Miley do. You know, we saw Caicedo the other night, doesn't have that. He kind of like scoops at it, but look, that was a really good finish from Bruno, and it made me eat my words a little bit, and I thought it was a really good display for a guy who's all in at this football club and is about to go over for Brazil and playing in South Korea. And you know, Eddie Howe said he just hopes he comes back in a good condition, because he's got a long way to travel for those international matches. But great goal to open it up. Just came at the right time yet again. Bruno Guimaraes turning up at the most important time for Newcastle United. And then the penalty, stick on penalty, what a tackle it was. When you watch it back, it was almost a leg breaker from Anderson on can't remember who it was now, you might need to remind me, can't remember who the tackle was on, but was it maybe Anthony Gordon? Can't remember, but absolutely shocking challenge. But that penalty from Big Nick, Jesus, I don't think I've ever seen a penalty that goes into the roof of the net. Actually went into the roof of the net. Rather than going into the sort of top corner. It was an incredible penalty, and you can see exactly why he wanted to take them over in Brussels during the week. Phenomenal penalty from Voltemada, and I suppose great for you guys to know that you've got two good penalty takers in the shape of Gordon and Voltemada moving forward. What I love about Voltemada is he just seems nerveless. That was a big moment, really big moment for him today, and to score the penalty the way he did, he can do things with the football, manipulate the football in ways that most other footballers can't. Now look, you're going to have to deal with getting used to a different style of play. It's not the ball over the top into the channels, high press that you had from Alexander Isak. It is a bit more of a slow build up into the feet, you know, turning the ball around the corner, holding it up. It is different, but I like what I've seen from him so far. You know, 3 goals in the last 3, 4 in the last 6. He looks like he's got a bit about him. And you have to feel for him because he's not had Johan Wissa to help him out in these early days. He's been thrown into the deep end. And you had a sink or swim, and for me, he's swimming so far. He really, really is. And look, you're going to have to get used to a different style of football for Newcastle with him in the team. But I like what I see. I like the way he took the penalty. It's another goal. I like the confidence. Yes, there's 2 goals in the last 2 games. One's been a kind of deflection, a flick into the goal, and the other one's been a penalty. But look, that's how strikers get by. Scoring goals like that. They're not all worldies. They're not all drills into the bottom corner. They're not rounding the goalkeeper and tapping it in. He's a different sort of striker, and look, I think at this stage you could not have asked for more from him. He could have gone 4 or 5 games without a goal, pressure on him, but he's really helped himself in these early days. So fair play to him. And apart from that, I thought the back 2 were great. My dad was saying afterwards he was salivating about Chow and Botman at the back, and I have to agree. I think the 2 of them are exceptional. I actually interviewed Malik Chow on Friday. What a lovely guy he is. Like, really real gentleman, really nice guy, smile on his face, interested in you, just a really nice person. And I think he will go on to be a brilliant Newcastle United defender. I really do. I know he's got off to a good start in the last couple of weeks, but I just think when you've got Chow and Botman there to build the team in front of, you've got a real chance. And then with someone like Tonali in midfield, who in my eyes is the best number 8 in the league, he's just exceptional the way he gets about the park. You need to savour every moment you've got with that guy, because what a player he is. When you've got the 2 of them and Tonali in front, what a spine of the team you have. So look, it's all positive, it's all looking good. You're going into the international break, 2 good wins under the belt, just the tonic, just what was needed. And then you come back looking bright, and hopefully there's no more injuries, and hopefully you can get into a better sort of groove moving forward. Now obviously the worry over Lewis Hall is an addition to the Tino situation, and of course the Johan Wissa one. I said to you guys on Friday that I've got a bit of worry over Wissa, because obviously that 4 to 5 week schedule then became 6 and then became 8, and I was hearing it was a longer term injury in the first place. Not an ACL, nothing that's going to keep him out the season, but something that might keep him out a little bit longer. And there is a bit of a worry that once the AFCON comes around, will he be back? Will he be just back? Will he be in a position to go? What sort of situation will he be in? Now, someone close to me is telling him that his priority is Newcastle. He wants to play for Newcastle. He feels he owes them. He feels he wants to show what he's got to do. So let's hope that is the situation once he's back from injury. But look, you're getting by without him at the moment. It would have been a really difficult situation if Voltemada hadn't hit the ground running, but he has, which has obviously helped the situation. And look, happy days going into the international break. So look, all good today. 2-0 win, perfect situation for Eddie Howe. He's not getting anyone's hopes up too high. He's put 3 points on the board. Another goal for Voltemada. Bruno flying, clean sheet, ideal situation. Okay guys, leave your comments below, but a really satisfactory and solid afternoon here at St James's Park today. Okay, cheers guys, speak soon, bye bye.